Malchut of the Mashiach is in place, everything is as it should be. But Megillat Esther will not be. In this regard, Megillat Esther is different. And here we have to understand why Megillat Esther is different. Someone just tell me what the time is?
It's 10 to 7.
10 to 7? Okay. Well, briefly, this is how it goes. Megillat Esther teaches us one very, very profound and essential message. And that is, and it's precisely because the name of Hashem does not appear in the Megillah. That's exactly what makes it so important. To tell us that Hashem, if the Pasuk tells us, the Rabbi tells us, this Hashem will do this, and Hashem tells me that such and such is in the works, and this will occur in the future. All right. Well, we know that we have a text, we have a document which tells us this is what Hashem said, this is what Hashem will do. But to see the working of Hashem in the real world, in the reality that we see around us, without any obvious sign and indication that Hashem is at work, that Hashem is fine-tuning the reality and planning things as they go, even though we don't see it, and we don't hear it, we don't feel it on a daily basis, and even on a generational basis. We don't necessarily, we cannot necessarily discern this hashgacha of Hashem in the real world. But the fact is that that's how it works. That is how the world works. Jewish history works that way. The Jewish history is first and foremost, a lesson in the simple fact that the Jewish people is indestructible. The Jewish people cannot disappear. And that's what we learn from Megillat Esther. Keep in mind, all the Jews in the world at the time of Haman, Ahasuerus, Mordechai, and Esther lived in the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire was a huge empire from Western India, the Hodu Balkush, and down to Sudan of today, and everything in the middle, including Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael was a small, almost forgotten backwater province of the Persian Empire, but it was part of the Persian Empire. All the Jews in the world were in that empire at that time. I'm not stating that I know for a fact there was not one family somewhere else, or two Jews who got lost somewhere else and ended up in Greece. I don't know this for an absolute fact, but every known part of the Jewish people, certainly 99.99% of the Jewish people, were within the Persian Empire. If the plan of Haman had actually come to fruition, then the Jewish people would have disappeared. There would have been no Jewish people. This was, and it was the only time in history really where it was so easy to really eradicate the Jewish people, annihilate them completely, because they're all in one relatively compact geographical area, ruled by one very, very omnipotent central government. If that's what the central government decrees, that's what's going to happen. The danger was immense. The danger was that the Jewish people would simply cease to exist in the most basic, simple, elementary meaning of those words. There would be no Jewish people. Precisely for this reason, we have to celebrate Purim every year, because we have to know that that is not a possibility. That's not an option. Hashem created the world with the Jewish people. That is, we are the central focal point of Hashem's Bria. And a Bria without Am Yisrael is an impossibility. Therefore, such a thing cannot be. But you don't always see how this comes about. What prevents these plans of our enemies coming to fruition? Megillah tells us, true, you don't always see it, but look at these events of Purim. So look how things played out here in the most fantastic, incredible way, and see how Hashem works within the day-to-day workings of this world, of Olam Hazeh, and in the minds and in the hearts of Jews and non-Jews, enemies and friends, evildoers and righteous. All these actions and all these interactions are taken into account by Hashem's hashgacha to bring about that result. And therefore the lesson of Purim is that Hashem's hashgacha is not only there when we're told explicitly it's there, it's happening, He's working and doing things, even when you're not told, and you can't see it for sure, that reality of Hashem's hashgacha protecting the Jewish people, because the Jewish people is indestructible, and the Jewish people, the world without the Jewish people is meaningless. Therefore, know that this is what Hashem is always doing, and that is the tremendous lesson that we learn from the Megillat Esther. We don't learn it from anywhere else, because only there do we see such an unlikely chain of events, very far-fetched story, and the chances that things would work out that way are very, very remote. And Hashem's name is not there deliberately to tell you that very often you can live right through those events and not see and not understand what's happening. The Megillah reminds us of the truth. Purim Sameach.
Purim Sameach. Question from what you said to remind you.
Very tremendous scholar. I saw that he wrote that he thinks that Yemot HaMashiach and afterwards there will be books that will be written relating all kinds of events that took place in our time, maybe the last few generations, our present time, the next few generations. In other words, things that are, again, closer to home, closer to our own time, will be written down in the form of books like the Tanakh, and maybe we'll read from such books as those. That's what he suggests.
Also, what's the context of the Yerushalmi that says that that it'll be that the Chagim and the Tanakh will be Mevatel? What's the context? Is it?
That's it. There's no context. This is the whole discussion. First, there's these 2-3 lines. That's it. It's discussed. It appears there in other discussions to do with Purim, but there's no other context. All right. Go ahead. Shalom.